Welcome into another edition of Inside Wofford Golf. I'm Tom Henson, joined by men's head coach Todd Eckstein. And Todd, let's get in, I guess, to the off season. There's not really an off season anymore, is there, for golf?
Not particularly. No, I think we try to take advantage of kind of a little bit of a lighter practice schedule in November and December, and kind of let the guys come off of basically 10 months straight of playing tournament golf between what they do for us and then playing some tournament golf over the summer. And when we get back in January for interim, the class schedule kind of gives us an opportunity when the weather's good to get out there in the afternoon and practice and try to get better. So the off season's been really good. We've had a couple hiccups weather-wise, but for the most part, we've been able to get out there and really try to be prepared for this first tournament.
What have you guys done from a training standpoint to get better as a team, but also, I guess, individually as well?
Yeah, I think the first thing is that right when we got back from winter break, we really tried to have a focus on competing right away. And so we played some match play style qualifying, which both, I think, encourage guys to be prepared for the opportunity to get into the lineup. But, also I think, if they weren't their sharpest right away, they were highlighting very quickly what wasn't going to hold up well in competition and had chances to adjust for that before we got to, this point in the semester. And I think that worked out really well. And one thing I feel like we focused on a lot more is just some more like scoreable practice in the way that we are kind of approaching improvement. So focusing in on drills that we can keep track of and how guys are improving those areas over time. I think specifically with wedges is one place that, because we have a team that I think hits the ball relatively long for the most part, being able to use those scoring clubs a little bit better helps. And so that's been a big focus, I think, for us, and especially in the last few weeks as we get ready for the first tournament.
You get your home course reopened too. I guess it's completed now. Just talk about that and the facilities you guys have out there now.
Yeah, so Country Club of Spartanburg underwent a pretty big renovation specific to the tennis center, but then rerouted and kind of redesigned 3 of the holes, 14, 15, 16 on the back 9. And so for the first little bit of the year, I think the guys were appreciative that we were still able to play some golf, but playing holes 1, 2, and 3 a second time to, try to finish our qualifying rounds and make them 18 holes was a little bit tough, but 14 is still kind of the same bones as it was, a great little, scenic par 3. 15, the second shot is a lot more demanding than it used to be with a pond that's right next to the green now. And then 16, they've lengthened by about 60 yards, and the landing area is a little bit tighter with the bunkers that are in place. So I think overall it's a good change for us, and very appreciative of the club kind of being supportive of the team and, giving us an opportunity to play on a really good golf course.
And just talk about that, about the opportunity. That's a challenging course to use that as your place where you're going out there and being able to practice and get this team ready for the spring.
Yeah, I think it balances both an opportunity to score. You can make some birdies when you're playing really well at Spartanburg, but you have to do it in a pretty strategic fashion where you have to be on the correct side of the hole when you're, coming into the green. You have to have good speed on your putting. And so that's something that, is a huge emphasis for us as we're kind of trying to prepare, and it's going to be an important skill to have on any golf course, no matter the length conditions that you're playing in. And so I think those 2 things in particular are something that we focus on a lot and are benefit from playing Spartanburg quite a bit.
Todd, let's talk about your facility upgrades here on campus, what that's going to mean for you guys, but also specifically what's going to mean for the guys, guys on the team.
Yeah, 2 very important upgrades that are coming in the next month or so. As we're sitting here, I think there's being equipment installed right across the hall in what used to be an athletic training room that the Panthers were using during training camp is now going to become a mobility-focused weight room that our program, the women's golf team, and the baseball and softball programs are going to share. And the focus is more on like rotational strength aspects. So we have a couple of Kaiser machines that are going in there that focus on those types of exercises that I think are very helpful for baseball pitchers, but also, golf is a very rotational sport.
Yeah.
And so having access to stuff like that is very important. The other thing that's going on in here, maybe you can see behind us, we've got a putting green that we're able to use, but we're going to nearly triple the amount of putting green space that we have here by installing just on the other side of our storage closet through to where the simulators are, some flat putting green surface, which is great for doing drill work and guys kind of level setting on where their putting stroke is and getting to focus on that more than, we're able to do on this green because it does have a decent amount of break in it. So it just gives us some flexibility to fit more people in here to practice, especially during January and February. It's really helpful to have that additional space.
So that means even somebody like me should never have an excuse for 3 putting anymore.
Correct. Yeah, you're going to have plenty of room to work on some of the lag putts and some of the short ones too. So
awesome.
no reason for it.
Yeah, what a great great addition for the programs,
Yeah.
both of them, men's and women's.
Agreed. Yeah, it's going to be a huge help.
So let's talk about your schedule. What do you have coming up this spring? I guess, what are you most excited about? And what are you looking to see, I guess, tournament one here in the spring?
Yeah, so we leave tomorrow to go down to Dorado, Puerto Rico.
That's a tough life right there.
I know, it surprisingly snowed this morning in Spartanburg, and everybody's feeling really bad for us about having to hop on a plane to get out of here tomorrow afternoon. But no, so we're going down to Dorado Beach, and I think it's a great measuring stick for us because, UNCG's in the field. They're perennially a very good, SoCon contender.
Yeah.
And so having a chance to play against them, we're playing with them in the first round. I think getting a sense of where we stand and how much improvement we've made, like this is a great field to kind of test that. But we're also going to get some very high level competition later on in the spring at the Linger Longer and at Stanford's event over spring break at NC State. And we get to play Palmetto over in Aiken, which is a phenomenal golf course to be able to compete on. So overall, leading into SoCon, I feel like it's a great balance of, tough golf courses, good competition. I feel like we've improved to be able to compete a lot better in those fields, and I'm kind of excited to see what the guys, show up with this week.
Yeah, I assume this is like all sports. You're trying to be peaking in mid-April around the Southern Conference tournament. How do you gauge that as a coach? What do you look to see tournament to tournament this spring?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is noticing where guys learn from failure. I think that's a huge part, in having a long memory. I've said in the past that, if you experience is just time, if you learn nothing from it, it's just time that passes you by. And so I think the more conversations that I have with guys that are in tournaments and they can learn from mistakes that they've made, I feel like there've been some guys that have done a great job of addressing places where they fell short in the fall and are ready to, compete this spring and be in a lot better shape for that. So I've already seen that. I feel like in practice, I'm excited to see what it looks like when we get to competition. But I think those learning moments are what help you prepare for the biggest competitions. And as long as you take something from that, then you're going to be in great shape come April.
Let's talk about some of your alumni. We got one here that he's knocking on the door, man. Andrew Novak is he's closing in on I think getting that first PGA Tour win. What have your conversations been with him recently, and what kind of support does he provide not only to you but to the guys on the team?
Yeah, I think first of all, when I got the job, Andrew was one of the first people to reach out, and we overlapped our playing careers in college for a couple of years, and so there was a level of familiarity with each other that I think we hit it off pretty quickly, and was able to play some golf with him over Thanksgiving when he was back in town. And I think Andrew's such an unbelievable ambassador for Wofford. He loves this place. He talks about his experience here as often as he gets a chance to. And I'm glad that the national media is kind of seeing what a great personality he's got, and that he's always a great conversation, has great thoughts about anything from pace of play to college football. So I think the support that he provides for our guys, he hopped in practice early on in the year and got to play with a handful of our guys as we were getting ready for our first tournament. And so I think for those guys to see where they stack up with somebody who's now top 20, 25 in the FedEx Cup so far this season with the finishes that he's had, to be able to look at his game and say, okay, here's where I feel like I'm pretty comparable to where Andrew's at, and here's where I feel like I have the biggest ground to make up, is a huge thing for guys to have access to somebody like that, and to know that he came out of the same place that they're now trying to build a career for themselves. So all of them have his phone number. He's been very inviting of wanting to give advice where he can on how to improve and how to prepare for tournaments and things like that. So couldn't ask for a better person to be, an ambassador for our program.
It's also cool when he's, playing in the last groups on Saturday and Sunday, and the commentators are talking about Wofford and talking about Wofford golf.
Yeah, that was, just to have your name mentioned on a national broadcast and a big event at a place like Torrey Pines is pretty sweet. And, I have a feeling that there are going to be a lot more of those Sundays coming up, and, he's got a week off this week after I think 6 or 7 in a row. So hopefully he's getting some rest and ready for the next little stretch.
Let's talk about alumni in general. I know you guys are trying to do a lot to engage the alums from Wofford who participated in men's golf.
I know this community has been such a blessing to our program so far. I've gotten so much outreach from people immediately upon getting the job, wanting to keep checking in and ask how the team's doing and where they can help. One thing that I've heard over and over again from our alumni is that they want reasons to get together. And so we're going to start up this concept called Dog Days, where during the summer, during our off season, kind of in November, December, we're going to try to find good golf courses to get our alumni together smaller gatherings so that we get, a good sense of community, but places like Atlanta and Charlotte where we've got large contingents of alumni and try to get them together and kind of have a little friendly competition. The focus is more on just bringing people together and, giving them an idea of what's going on with Wofford Golf and what we're trying to build here. And so, one thing I've just noticed over and over again is that Wofford people love Wofford, and any chance that they get together and kind of rally around a team or a program, you've seen it with basketball and baseball and volleyball, teams that have success, they're able to bring people in and be a part of that. And we're just trying to mirror what that success has looked like.
That's great. And as someone who works in the Office of Philanthropy Engagement, we thank you for getting the alums engaged and involved. And that's always helpful for the overall effort of the institution.
Yeah, absolutely. And, support comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes. It can be financial. It can be guys that, are having our team out to play their home golf course, people coming out to watch us play. It comes in, all forms, and all of it's appreciated. And the guys, I think, really feed off of it when the alumni are invested in, the success of the team.
Absolutely. Good luck this weekend. We'll be rooting for you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Tom.
Black and gold. Bold. A victory story about to be told. Grit, toughness, and tenacity. A hub of hard work in Hub City. We're on these wins like dogs on a bone. In the zone. Our place, in your face, won't leave you alone. Strength, speed, fire, true. I'm sorry, do these things trouble you? We're Wofford College. We fly the W. Ingalls, proud partner of the Wofford Terriers.
Did you know Ingalls only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
Back on Inside Wofford Golf, I'm Tom Henson, joined now by sophomore Charles Warren. And Charles, you're from Huntsville, but went to McCallie. Let's talk about your journey. How did you end up here at Wofford?
Yes, sir. So just like you said, I went to the McCallie School in Chattanooga, and that was definitely kind of a leap of faith going away to boarding school at 14 years old, but loved every second of it. Really helped me grow as a person, as a student, and certainly as a golfer, kind of helped allow me to get some more exposure and kind of start to gain some traction from a couple college coaches, and talked pretty heavily with our old coach, Van Williams, and, came on a visit here to Wofford and, just immediately felt at home. Loved the campus, loved the people. Facilities here are great. And there were a lot of really great guys on the team. So I knew that this is where I wanted to be. It was super, super easy decision.
Now, in that process, you met Todd Eckstein, who was then at High Point and now is your head coach at Wofford. Talk about the relationship you guys have had. One, maybe spurning him to come to Wofford instead of High Point, and now getting a chance for him to be your coach.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, Todd, he's an awesome guy. I loved, every second of every phone call and visit that I had with him. He's just full of energy, and you can really feel his passion for the game, for being a coach, for helping, develop us as players, but also just as men in life. So, I'm super, super happy that he's ended up here at Wofford. I feel like everything works out the way it's supposed to in the end. So, I think it was just all part of the plan for him to end up here, and we're super grateful to have him.
What's he done for you individually? I know it's a team sport, but what are some things he's helped you work on over the time that he's been here?
So over the off season, he analyzed our statistics from the fall season and kind of picked out one area of our game that was kind of lacking compared to everything else. And so for me, that was lag putting. I had a higher than wanted 3-putt percentage per round. So he gave me a couple really good drills to work on for that. We were kind of able to track my progress over the off season, and I've immediately seen results. During tournaments I played during the off season, and also in some of our qualifying early this semester.
What are some other things you've been working on as far as improvement goes this fall and in the fall tournaments, but also trying to get ready for the spring?
My wedges a lot. That's actually something else that coach has helped out with. Distance control has just not been quite what I wanted. So we were able to kind of work on a system for helping dial that in, and I'm feeling really confident about it heading into this first tournament.
Golf's an interesting sport in that it's individual. You know, you're trying to do your part for the team, playing the course and maybe playing the guys that are in your grouping. But there's a team concept to it that's really, really, really important. Talk about the chemistry that this group has.
Coach has said this before, and I've said it before. I think this team has arguably the best chemistry of any team in the country. I mean, you know, we got 11, which is maybe just a little bit bigger than average. So for all of us to get along as well as we do, I think is just kind of a testament to the guys that we have. I think there's been a heavy emphasis on recruiting guys here who are not just good golfers, but also good guys. And so I think, you know, that really helps build a strong foundation for the kind of community feel of this team. You know, I mean, I think you could, you know, put anyone with anyone on this team to, you know, go get something done, go play golf, and, you know, everyone's going to have a good time.
Yeah. Outside of golf, what's your academic focus? Have you decided on a major yet? What are you enjoying about the academic side of Wofford?
Yes, sir. I'm planning on majoring in finance, and I'll minor in econ as well. So I've definitely enjoyed Wofford so far. I feel like Macaulay helps prepare me well.
Sure.
Because it is definitely a challenging school. So there's a lot more free time than in high school. So there's a lot more time to kind of balance the academics and athletic side of it. But I'm really enjoying it all, staying super busy, but it's fun to me.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to ask you kind of some rapid fire questions. So some short answers. First thing that comes to your head, I guess.
All right.
What's your favorite club in your bag?
The putter. It was actually a gift from the head pro at my home course. I was having some putting woes my senior year of high school, and he let me borrow a couple putters, and I picked out one that I liked, and I've been rolling it since.
Awesome. All right, favorite course you've ever played?
Pine Valley up in New Jersey. Yes, sir. It's a very special place. Best golf course I've ever played, best golf experience I've ever had. It's a really cool spot.
Course you most want to play?
Kind of an obvious answer, Augusta National.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think Augusta is either the favorite course you've played or the course you most want to play, right?
Right. Another one I'd put in there is Fisher's Island up on Long Island, New York. Every hole's on the water there. Just looks like a really, really cool spot.
All right, if you weren't a golfer, what sport would you play?
Maybe tennis. My mom played tennis in college, and I really like individual sports, like the grind of it all. But maybe basketball too. We like to play pickup a lot as a team. That's something fun we do to get a little bit of cardio in and kind of enjoy some time together off the golf course. So one of those two.
Awesome. Do you have a favorite team, whether it be professional or college, outside of course, of Wofford?
Well, I grew up in Huntsville, like you said, so living in Alabama, it's either Alabama or Auburn.
Yeah, you got to pick one.
Got to. And I was a big Alabama fan, still am. So love supporting the Tide.
Awesome. Finally, I want to ask you, I've gotten the opportunity, blessed to get to know your parents over the last year and a half. Just talk about them and what they've meant to you on your journey, both at Macaulay and also now still at Wofford.
Well, they've both been super, super supportive. My mom she's very charismatic. She's very loving. Doesn't matter if I play bad, play well. She's always there to love on me, make me feel good.
Yeah.
Throughout my recruiting process, she didn't have a ton of input, but the one thing she did say is make sure you go somewhere that you'd be happy at, even if you weren't playing golf.
Great advice.
And it was really, really good advice that I think helped me make my decision. And then my dad has been great all throughout my junior golf journey into high school, into college. He's, spent countless hours, on the internet and stuff, finding tournaments for me to play in, helping pay for me to travel to all these cool places and, ultimately supporting me, here in college and hopefully further, into the professional level.
Awesome. Charles, appreciate your time today. Good luck this spring. Looking forward to seeing great things.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.